Hey, welcome back to Squarebody Stuff. I'm going to give you a proper introduction to Big Nasty, my 79 K5 Blazer that I've turned into a rock crawler. Now I know what you're thinking, not another walk around video. Well, that's what this is. I know they're kind of boring, but I've put a lot of work into this old truck. It's a 79 K5 Blazer, and I want to show you what all I've done to him. He's been sitting for about 3 years now, actually about 4 years. I haven't had him on trail. I had him running about a year ago. But he's been sitting ever since. I've robbed a couple parts off of him here and there, so I'm going to have to put some stuff back together on him to get him drivable. I want to get him back on the trail before winter hits. But the backstory on this, how I got it, it was a bone stock, all original Blazer. It had the 350, turbo 350 transmission, 203 transfer case. It had been sitting in the guy's yard for about 4 or 5 years is the story I got. And I talked to him one day. I was just looking for the transfer case to build a doubler, and he said, "Hey, I've got an old Blazer if you want it." I said, "Well, how much do you want for it?" He said $150 for the whole thing. So I bought it, and it was all original. It was pretty cool. It was rough because it was completely rusted out, and I'll show you some of that later on. I've got a cow licking my tripod. I got company. And that's my production crew. I'm gonna go feed them, so they'll leave me alone. Alright, now I got my critters fed. Don't remember where I was on the story, but I think I bought it for $150. Got it running. Drove it up on a trailer because the tires were trash. Brought it home. We drove it around. It had like a quarter tank of gas in it. We drove around my old place till all the gas ran out of it. And it ran like a top after I put I think one spark plug wire on it. I kind of fell in love with the Blazer idea, but this thing was completely rusted out. I thought I'm going to make a trail rig out of it. Kind of a trail street rig. I drove it to work a couple times. And I put some 3/4 ton axles underneath it from another truck, and took it to an off-road park not too far away, about 45 minutes away, and then the motor gave out on me. Of course, it was my fault. Didn't change the oil in it. Had 4-year, 5, 6-year-old oil in it, and flattened out the camshaft. Is my fault. So I ended up putting a big block in it. Big blocks are good. So that's how I ended up with the big block, and now he's got a 1-ton front end. I ended up destroying the 10-bolt 3/4 ton front end that was in the front of it, and I've added a cage or half a cage. So I'll just walk around and give you a better idea what's going on with this thing, and kind of maybe some of my plans for in the future. Alright, well, here's the big block. It was out of a 1.5 ton, 2-ton truck, like a wrecker or something like that, or a box truck. It's like a Gen 5 reman or Gen 5 replacement, GM replacement block. So it's got kind of iffy, smallish port heads that don't flow the best. It was a TBI. I put just an old Mark IV 4-barrel intake on it, and a little 600 Holley that I've done some modifications to so it can handle really steep inclines and off-camber hills and quite a bit of bouncing around. Nothing special done to the motor other than just clean it up, put new gaskets in it, seal it up good, and painted it orange. I do plan on putting another intake on it, maybe a little bit bigger camshaft. I did have, you can see my quad shock hoops that I not manufactured, but I fabricated. It did have dual electric fans, which those fans ended up going on cream puff. If you're not familiar with cream puff, go to look at some of my other videos on my YouTube channel and you'll find some about cream puff. He's a 79 C10 short bed. That's about all that's going on underneath the hood. Of course, I've deleted the AC box and all that other stuff. But this one wasn't really roadworthy anymore after I found out how much rust it had in it. So I bought another 79 that was almost identical to it, except for instead of black and mystic silver, it was black in the middle and mystic silver on the top. I think I've got some pictures of it somewhere, but I don't have it anymore. I traded it for my step-side short bed I've got now. So we'll take a look underneath the front end. Of course, it's got just a cheapy rough country 12,000 pound winch. I hope it still works. A bumper I fabricated. Then underneath here we've got a full hydraulic steering setup. And a Dana 60. And inside that cover, the Dana 60 is welded because I was too cheap to buy a spool for it. So I just welded it up. Okay, for wheels and tires, right now I got 39.5, 16.5 by 17 Pitbull rockers on Dodge wheels. And this one has a huge gash in the backside that I've stitched up. Let me see if I can get a shot of my handiwork. I think it's on the bottom though, where it's all wrinkled up. Nope. There's my handy stitch work. Some wire and tire plugs. It actually held air for almost a year. There's a leaf spring just laying there underneath it. You can see where it's broke off. Just sitting here. I got disc brakes on the back. I actually used to work at a fabrication shop making off-road parts. And we had a computer program that I can design all this kind of stuff. I designed the diff cover, the brackets for the disc brake conversion, and yes, it's got blocks, but I've yet to hurt those blocks. I've never had one try to come out. You can see my axle tubes are welded. If you look real close at that plug weld, you can see where it's busted out. My passenger side axle tube is actually spun even with the lift blocks in there. I had this thing up off the ground and bounced it, jumping, being stupid. And it actually twisted that axle tube. And I wasn't going to try to twist it back. I just welded it up the way it was. I didn't care. Eventually it's going to get 4 links. And maybe coilovers. I'm not real sure. I may do a quarter elliptical type leaf spring setup on it. Here's the tailgate I fabricated for it. A good shot of the roll cage I built. I plan on dovetailing the back end to kind of match the contour of the roll cage. Now when I got this thing, it didn't have a dent at all in it, except for on the front passenger side fender, a little dent on the top, but it wasn't very bad. But it was completely rusted out. The floor was rusted out. This driver's side was rusted out clear where the expanding metal starts, from about there all the way around the whole seam where it meets the floor was rusted out clear back to the passenger side frame rail. So when I took the top off, the whole driver's side of the body just kind of fell down about 8 inches. And with the body not being tight, it was messing with the shift linkage and giving me all sorts of problems with steering and everything else. So it is rock solid now to the frame, because I've got these both sides that I made. Not sure if you can see those real good. They go clear up underneath to the frame. And you see the expanded metal. So from the driver's seat, which is attached to the frame, just an old plastic racing seat. From the driver's seat, I can see both my front tires and my right rear tire, so I know where I'm at on the trail, what's in my way around my tires. Right now I had to rob some turn signal parts out of the steering column for another truck. Got to put that back together, at least put a steering wheel back on it so I can steer it. Another shot of the half roll cage. I never did finish up the rest of the roll cage. This thing still needs a lot of work. That a pinion guard that I made. There's not a straight panel on this thing now. Of course, I had an extra top. I cut it down to just provide some shade for the passengers. Yeah, it's got the factory back seat. Oh, look. I wonder where I put my helmet. That helmet's been sitting in here for 4 years, I guess. Sweet. Maybe a little better shot of the both sides. They've taken quite a bit of abuse. Of course, it's hard to tell by the video exactly how much I cut off the bottom of the door frame, but I think the rocker panel came down probably about just as low as the boat side, maybe a little bit lower, but now I've got all the extra room up there and it's solid. It's hard to tell in the video, but it's got 2/4 inch brace here, welded to the boat side and to the frame, 2 here going to the frame, 2 there going to the frame. So these both sides are solid to the frame, welded solid to the body, and it's not going anywhere. This thing's pretty rigid now. Also got a fuel cell that I fabricated. Holds about 15 gallons. Fuel line coming off the bottom of that fuel tank. I just got a little sump in the middle. So when it's out of fuel, it's out of fuel, and it gravity feeds. Well, it did gravity feed to that electric pump there that quit me. I got another one just hanging right there, just duct tape up to get it over here when I moved it over to this place. I think I'm going to put a mechanical pump on it, so I don't have to worry about the electrical fuel pump. Alright, so there's a quick walk around of Big Nasty. Hopefully I'll get him running again one of these days and we can take him out for a ride. So, I do have some video of this thing. If you guys haven't already seen it on my YouTube channel, go check them out. Just a few action shots of when I had the GoPro camera, first got it and playing around with it. This used to be a pretty capable rig. Had a lot of fun with it. We'll have some more fun with it on down the road once I get time to mess with it. So until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go check out my YouTube, or not my YouTube, but my Instagram and Facebook at Squarebody Stuff. Both of those. That's really all I got. Sorry for boring you to death.